How many takes is this, Daniel?
Second one already.
Second take. We're professionals. Right, plan is to get that engine, you see it? Oh, down there, into that hole. So this year, as you know, I've been trying. Oh, I've done a stupid thing. Put it in this bar. It should be facing out this way. So I've now got to take this bit off. Hopefully, I can get this bar out. Because otherwise, the engine has to come back out. And that is going to suck balls. Oh, that was lucky. So basically, you got this that clamps around there, and then there's a wee pin that goes through which secures it up onto there. So, oh, that could have been a disaster, but done. So this is a bit of a pain in the neck. There's the engine mounts. Engine's in, but I've had to take these out because the thread's not going on. I've got to tap it or put the die on. Is it a tap? Is it a die? I don't know. But I'm going to just clean up this thread because the nut's not going on properly. So the other thing I've got is that both the holes on these are just circles, so when you're trying to get the engine mount in, it's quite difficult because of the angle. So what I'm going to do is just turn this into a bit more of a slot both sides, which should mean the bolt just slots in a lot easier. But my first one, Rymax and other stuff that's 20% off. Yeah! I think that's it. I'm good. Interfering, so I'm going to have to trim down the bit on the rack here. Your tuning stuff done, go give Chris a shout on Facebook or Instagram. Let him know that I had to take a bit more off now. It's like the third bit I've taken off, so hopefully this time it fits. Tank is kind of cleaned up. Got a bit of junk in it, will blow off, but it's got still got quite a lot of fuel in it, so it's really difficult to lift. So I'll jerry rig the pump and see if we can get some fuel out. I had to upgrade to bigger wires. See this one? Getting a little bit melty. So what I'm doing is I'm twisting the wires together and I'm going to solder them. But always remember, put your heat shrink on before, because I regularly forget that. And there we go. Here we have the oil sandwich plate. And last year, the pressure sensor, which was brilliant, saved that engine for when one of the pipes blew off and sprayed the whole place with oil. And then there's the oil feed for the turbo. But this year, I'm also going to run a temperature sensor. So what I've done is I've just drilled and tapped that with a 1/8. I've had to put a washer in as well, just to stay it off, and there's some of that gunk, some of that thread gunk. And I actually have to like drill it just a touch, just so there's enough clearance. It's just got the clearance in there. So wired up these little Deutsch connectors, they need to go into the plug. You can see that, but yeah. I put a little bit of solder on there just to hold them in. And make sure you put a little rubber grommet on. And all you need to do, slide it in here until it clicks. Click. I do the sound effects. Can you hear this one? Oh, we click there. Then the rubber grommet. slide that up and pop it in the wee hole. I said hole. Look at that. Like a freaking professional. Oh. Okay, now the last bit, take the locator bit and I just slide it in. Is that going to make a satisfying click? No, where's the satisfying click? Oh, that was a little bit satisfying. On. Oh, yeah, baby. Look at that. And then plug it into your ship. Kick. There we go, both bits now wired in. A wee bit. That was the same as it was last year. That wire was fine. So this need to work out how I'm going to be mounting that. I'm going to be zip ties, but yeah, and obviously I'll cover up all these wires. They'll all get wrapped in this kind of material stuff, but I'm not doing that until everything's turned on and I make sure everything's working, because I don't want to have to strip it all down. What to do is go, just a bit damaged, a bit cut up where it's caught things and things. So the sump sits right in here. So this is really the only part I'm heat wrapping on the car. The rest of it I don't think needs it, but just don't want this cooking up the oil in the sump. There we go, all heat wrapped up. Like, it's super thick as well. Well, that's sort of double wrapped it over, so you should keep the oil from getting too toasty. Give this thing a wee clean up as well. Little turbo spark, 50 bad boys. So I'm just putting back together all my oil pipes and things, so instead of just having to try and remember using my crappy brain where all this went, like, I've been drawing on things, marking numbers, and then before I took it all apart, I was like taking pictures of stuff, so I know how to put it back together. So that's oil system all bolted in, everything's connected, lines to the turbo are all done, cooler's back in, put a new filter on, filled the filter up with oil before I put it on. Right, so just intercooler to go back on now. So this year, as you know, I've been trying to get some sponsors together just to help me out with some of the costs for this car. So I've had the lovely SMT Motorsport. Now they're joining me to help me out with all the fluids for the car for this year. So they are the official Rimax dealers for up in the northern parts of the world. And they're helping me out with this beautiful, look at this, some 1060 weight stuff, some race oil, and also getting some like engine flush stuff and some engine protectors, but they're doing a lot more things. So I'm going to be able to hook you guys up with a discount code. So if you go and visit them Facebook, Instagram, either or both, and quote Craig 2021, and you're going to get 20% off. Yeah, baby. 20% off. 20% off. 20% off. 20% off stuff. Don't drink it. Definitely don't drink it. It's coming together, but typically the last bit has become an issue. Because I've added this bar, I've not taken into account that this is where that runs, and it's janky getting it on. This was going to be modified to be a lot more sort of around like this to bring it in a lot more, but I might have just enough to get it on and get the car fired up, but it's no good for like long term. But yeah, I'm kind of just running out of silicone. I've got spare, so maybe I might be able to make something work. Getting close now. Just putting some water in her. So she filled to the rear. Then what I do is fill it up in here. And then, because the electric water pump, I can just turn it on. You need to cap that off because otherwise it basically turns into a fountain. Water pump on. And then just a case of seeing how it's doing. I've already topped it up. Maybe do a wee bit more. It's definitely circulating. That is good. So I'm getting ready to fire up. I've got, this is my other sponsor, or one of my other sponsors for this year. I've got Chris from Dynatune. Now he's doing magic stuff on the keyboard. And he's going to log in. And we're going to fire the car up with him logged in and looking at the ECU and doing magic stuff just to make sure Numbnuts here doesn't blow shit up. Look at that. I'm not doing anything. Look, here's my hand. Nobody touching it. It's internet magic. So that's Chris in the Link software just checking to make sure that everything's set up as it should be. Right, so, Link on, ignition on, fuel on, water on. Oh, don't blow up, don't blow up, don't. Right, here we go. Fucking yes! The mighty one you see. Right. Oh, the oil pressure. Ah, so good. Kinda not going exactly to plan. I wired the sensors into the wrong things. Instead of, should have been wiring them into AN things, I've run them into auxiliary stuff. So instead of the sensors going to inputs, they're being wired to output. So I'm trying to change a bunch of those things, and some weird thing happening that the oil pressure sensor isn't registering, which hasn't been touched. So I've got Chris online at the moment trying to help out and changing some wires, and we're just trying to work through it, see what's going on. But she's firing up. Wee bit scary with having no oil pressure though, but thankfully it's just the sensor. All the lines are checked, there's plenty of oil in there. So just, it's not the perfect start, but it ran for a bit. Let's just hope it fires up again and we get all the sensors we need. It's all good news. It's got oil pressure, it was just an issue with the sensor. Massive thanks to Chris at Dynatune for logging in and doing that. If any of you guys are needing any kind of tuning done, give them a shout. It's Dynatune, they're based over in Glasgow, and the service is fantastic. It's like, it's 10 o'clock at night and he's taken the time to like log on and help me out, and I've never had service like that before from any tuner. They've got a hub dyno there, and you've seen it in some of the earlier videos. Brilliant piece of kit. And let him know that you found out about him through me. That really helps my sponsors actually find out why they're sponsoring me, because then they get some sort of feedback that this is actually me doing this stuff is some use, and it really helps me too. So can't recommend them enough. Go give the guy some money and I'll make some power for your baby. Made mine make loads. So after my little squelchy bum moment for oil pressure, realised it was I'd wired it into something wrong. I don't even know how I'd managed to do it because it was wired in already, but somehow Numbnuts here managed to wire it into the wrong input. So changed that, so there's plenty of oil pressure. My fuel pressure, as you can see on here, is constantly reading 82. So it's definitely not 82 PSI. I've checked, like what I've done is I've gone and so here's the fuel pressure sensor, and it's exactly the same as the oil one. So what I've done is I've just taken the input for the oil, for the fuel, and plugged it onto that one and cranked it over, and you see pressure. So that sensor's broken. Other sensor I've managed to broken, so I've managed to break my brand new Link one. I've managed to twist the plastic bit, and I think it's just disconnected the wire, so that's a pain in the arse. Like, they're 50 quid or something like that as well, so that's, oh, so stupid. The other thing I've wired in is to my dial, so dial goes in, it's running on a 5 volt, so we got it down here, Watch when I turn the dial. Yeah, that's working. Woohoo! Right, let's see if she'll run. Ignition on, fuel on, ignore water, we don't need it, we're not going to run her for that long. Let's see how she goes. Right, come on baby.